Ben Hardy, congratulations on Unicorns.
Thank you.
Congratulations on Love at First Sight.
Thank you very much.
I can't actually sit here and not talk about Pete Beale.
Fair enough.
We have to. Doof, 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 doof. I've never missed an episode of EastEnders, and you were in EastEnders. So if we may, can we just a little bit of EastEnders?
Of course. Yeah, of course. I've got a lot of love for that show.
Yeah, do you know what? I have such respect for any actors or anyone who works on that show, because the amount of work that you have to put in, and how on earth do you remember the lines? How do you hit your marks? It's a vast machine, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, when you think about how, a film like, a normal feature film is 2 hours long, and maybe you'll spend like 4 months doing that, and then EastEnders, you've got 2 weeks to do the equivalent, probably more like 1 week, because they film them, they overlap. You probably already know this, but they overlap sort of the episodes. So you're usually filming 8 episodes at a time over the course of 2 weeks. But yeah, so
how do you know where you are? How do you know who you are?
It's confusing. I like to think I'm fairly on it, but they do have a script supervisor to help with that. But most people know where they are, where they're coming from, what they're doing. But it's a lot. It is a lot. But you learn a lot doing it,
So you went off to drama school, and then suddenly you're in. Well, I mean, I know you've done other things. You did other things as well when you were younger as well. But you're in the biggest show on television. And when you were in EastEnders, it was still doing many, 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 many millions. That must have been a very sort of strange awakening to the world of fame. I hate that word, but no. It was suddenly you're thrust into the limelight with that show, aren't you? Yeah,
it's funny because I remember being quite hopped up about it when I was saying to everyone there, I was like, I think I'm really going to like it. People coming up to me, I'm going to really like it. And I think when you're in a soap, or someone like yourself who's a face that's seen all the time, I think that's the most I've ever experienced that sort of fame, quote unquote fame. They would talk about how Gary Oldman, his sister is in EastEnders. She's Big Mo, right? You already know this as a super fan.
Lovely.
How he ends up, taking pictures of her for people, all the time. And I think it's because you're in someone's living room most nights, there is a sense of sort of, I know this person, And look, sometimes it's so lovely when someone comes up to you and you can tell they're just like a real big fan of the work and what you've done, or the storyline or the character or the show, and they just want to show appreciation. That's amazing. I'm like, yeah, of course, that's what you sign up for. And sometimes it's, a bit more invasive, but, but it is what it is.
It's like I said, a massive machine. Congratulations on it. But then leaving EastEnders and going into X-Men, hello? Going from Albert Square to Hollywood. That's quite a leap. A mighty fine leap, but a leap.
Yeah, I was like, it was so surreal. It was so surreal.
Was it?
Yeah, and I was so nervous. I was incredibly nervous. Because,
that's good. Nerves are good, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a lot. It was like, because even before you start filming, you're getting fitted for a man-made superhero costume or supervillain costume and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I really can't. Can you swear on this? No.
Yeah.
Like, man, I really can't fuck this up.
Yeah.
And in fact, day one, I had the worst start to
why
to filming, because I was in this superhero costume. That's all. Made to measure, little zips if you need to go to the toilet. But other than that, once you're in for like 12 hours or however long. And I was there, and I just kind of like bent down, and I managed to like tear the back of it round my bum. And I was wearing like a jock strap. You had to wear a jock strap in those. And I was about to go on set and meet all these, big Hollywood names, so Jennifer Lawrence and Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, all these people. And I was just like, I cannot go on there with my bum showing. But then the first AD, the guy that sort of makes sure everyone is where they need to be, amongst other things, was kind of screaming for me over the radio, like, where is this guy? Where is this guy? And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to look like a massive diva on day one. But I was like, I can't. And I had this wonderful costume woman who was sewing up my bum, essentially, you know.
She was sewing it up?
Sewing it up frantically. She was like, you know, and she was French Canadian. She was like, don't worry. I'll make sure, you know, that was not French at all. Anyway, don't judge my accents. Yeah, she was like, don't worry. I'm not going to let you go until we've got this sorted, you know. And then I just rocked up, and I was very shy anyway. And I was just like, they must think I'm the biggest diva. I've just turned up, first film, first scene, and I'm like 15 minutes late. Anyway.
Oh my God, I love that story.
Anyway, yeah.
How was it though after that? Did you explain, or did you just say, did you say anything, or did you just go for it?
I don't think I even did. I think I was just too nervous, you know. I remember, you know, talking, and they were all so lovely and so welcoming, you know, and so friendly, but I was just a bit tongue-tied. I did start to become more, you know, over the course of filming, a bit more. I managed to come up my shell a bit, but I was just, I was very starstruck, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, that's I like that.
Yeah.
That you would just, I'm an actor, I'm going in and look at these people, but they all treated you really well.
Oh yeah, everyone was so lovely. Yeah, it was so sweet. So, you know,
it's quite
everyone's just a person, isn't it? But you know, it's hard to really get your head around that.
You were a super villain. You know, that you were in a superhero film that's a massive franchise. That must play with your head in all the nicest possible ways. That you go to bed and think, my arse just fell out of my costume and I'm a supervillain.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so long ago now. I'd love to do something like that again.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. It's such good fun. And I'm actually a big fan of the comic book movies myself. And to this day.
Okay, well, let's talk about unicorns, then we're going to go back and talk about other stuff as well. So unicorns and Love at First Sight. But so let's talk about unicorns, because it's a beautiful love story. It's not an everyday boy meets girl love story. There's nothing. It's not a rom-com. This is. It's very deep. It's very warm. It's complicated as well, isn't it?
It is, but I also think it's a lot of fun, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but it is. I agree with everything you say. Like, it is complex. It is a cross-cultural romance. It's almost a sort of modern-day Romeo and Juliet, dare I say. But
you dare. You can say that.
Can I dare to say that? I'm just giving the writer massive credit there. But it's really fun and uplifting. And my character, Luke, is a single dad. He's a car mechanic in working class Essex, and he stumbles into a sort of party going on in the basement of an Indian restaurant, and sees this, what he thinks is a beautiful woman, Aisha, Jason Patel's character, has a cheeky little snog with her. This is the first 10 minutes, so it's not massive spoilers.
Yeah.
Has a cheeky little snog with her, and then realises that she's not a woman. She's, you know, whatever she wants to be, male by birth, I suppose. And then it's sort of, you know, that just completely throws him, because for him, in his community, in his world, to be gay or to be bisexual would be an absolute nightmare. And from then they sort of build a friendship, and it kind of goes from there. But
the friendship is really precious and it's lovely.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I mean, and Jason. I mean, you've met Jason,
right?
Oh, Jason
what
Patel.
a lovely guy!
He's so lovely. He's so fun, and we just had a very natural chemistry early on. So it was easy. That you can't really force that. I've tried playing like best friends with people before, or lovers with people, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's just either going to work or it's not going to work. You know.
When it doesn't work, what do you do? Do you have to go into full acting mode?
You just do your best, you know. But it is a bit like...
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to manufacture. Imagine someone else. I've done that before.
Oh, really?
That's really
have
mean.
You?
Yeah.
I won't ask you what film or what show.
I won't.
No, don't tell me either.
I wouldn't dare say. But it's...
But you and Jason, the chemistry works so fantastically well. And, I mean, I think it's going to win so many awards because of how it's... And the script is really lovely.
Oh, I think so too.
It's very relaxed. Does that make sense? That's a funny thing to say about a script, but it just feels like it's you two. It's as if there's no script there.
Yeah.
That sounds really insulting to the scriptwriter.
No, and to be fair, and James Floyd, who the writer, he would admit this as well. So, but he very much says like he was very free about say whatever you want, as long as it's, within the context of the scene, basically. So he was very free about that. It wasn't like, say my lines exactly as they are. That being said, obviously a lot of it is his words that are in there, but there are some moments that might be improvisational or ad-libs. But I think we managed to tread the line quite. I hate it when things get too improv-y. I think sometimes when
I didn't feel that. It just felt very natural.
Right. Well, which is great. Yeah. And it's very, as long as, I always think with improv, as long as it's geared towards, what does my character want in this scene? Or where's this scene going? What do I want? Where do I want to be? Then it works. But sometimes I think actors can get a little bit like so happy to be saying words that come out of their own mouth that they'll just talk about anything, and they get obsessed with how natural it is. Because it's like, oh, this is so natural because I'm talking about, like, I want a packet of crisps. Oh my God, I say that in real life. I don't know, that's just a stupid example. But it's
exactly
like, it's got nothing to do with this thing. Or even in comedy sometimes, it's hilarious improv comedy, but sometimes it's not serving the purpose of the scene, and it's just like going off on a tangent.
So is this stuff that you learned? Because I know you went off you were at Central, training to be an actor at Central. Was this stuff you learned, or is this stuff that you've learned since being in the profession?
I'd say the latter. I learned things at drama school, but that was more focused on, I don't know, acting. You went to drama school,
Yes.
I don't know. Those things I was just talking about was more like story, what makes a film work. I don't know. And I think, I've learned more on the job. I mean, look, also I was at drama school for 3 years. I've been working as an actor for 12, how old am I? 12 years, 13 years, something like that, so obviously I'm going to have learned more in that period of time, but I do think you learn more by actually working.
From doing it.
Yeah.
So then there's sort of, in many ways, it's very different. Love at First Sight, which is on Netflix. So Unicorns you can see in cinemas, and as I said, I think it's going to win every award. I really do. But a lot of people are saying that. You've read the reviews.
I've read some. Yeah.
That's what everybody is saying. That must be very, must be quite wonderful. It must be very heartening. Is that the word? Yeah. It must be heartening to read that. Everybody said this would win all the awards.
I haven't seen this review you've read, but that's very sweet. Yeah, it's very nice. That would be lovely.
Do you read the reviews?
I do. I read. I do these days. Yeah, I tend to. I try. I hope it's not from a narcissistic point of view, but I do tend to. I want to know how the movie's going down, especially with a movie like this, because I'm so proud of it. So I want people to see it. So I want the people that rely on reviews or Rotten Tomatoes scores 95%, just so you know.
Yes.
That rely on those things to watch it, So, yeah, I mean, of course, like if something is saying something about me, my ears do sort of perk up. I'm only human.
It's horrible, isn't it, though? It's a tough thing to ride if somebody writes something personally not very nice. Yeah,
definitely. And it affected me more when I was younger or new to the business. It still affects me if I read something. But I think if I were, I don't think I've been in this position. If I were to be in something and like universally slated by everyone, I think that might be quite hard. But I've had the odd sort of bad review that I've read, which maybe sits with me for a few hours and then let it go.
It's crazy, isn't it? The bad ones stick with you, and the good ones.
I know. Why are we like wired like that, like human beings? Like, what is it? Like, what do we perceive it as danger, and we need to? I don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
But it's only one person's opinion.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That review is one person's opinion.
Absolutely.
But they've all been very good about Unicorns, so you don't need to worry. But Love at First Sight, that's on Netflix at the moment. Everybody that I said I was talking to you, honestly, they all do this. They go, "Oh, Love at First." It's that. Oh, Love at First Sight. Oh, Love at First Sight. It's really, it's a lovely reaction.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Two films out at the same time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I love how much people love that film, and I love that film, Love at First Sight. I think it's just such a sweet, charming, funny, heartwarming rom-com, And I love rom-coms. I absolutely love rom-coms.
So do I. They're my go-to.
Yeah. Notting Hill's probably in my top 5. But yeah, so it's really sweet to get that reaction. I get a lot of people saying that, like, "Oh, you made me cry," and things like that. I'm like, well, I hope that they were happy tears or cathartic tears at least. But yeah, it was a really. It's funny, like you never know how a film's going to turn out. And we shot that during. This was a long time ago. We shot it during like COVID. It took a while to come out. Yeah, and it was funny enough time anyway, so I had no idea how it was going to end up, but it was received really well. So
no, it's really lovely. So for you as an actor, it's a weird old world, and I chat to so many actors and actresses that I just find you never know when something's coming out. You work on something, like you say, a few years ago. They're all coming out at the same time. You have to ride this really weird wave of you have the best job in the world when you're working. And when you're not working, it's the toughest gig, but it's what you love. I mean, I can tell by the way you're talking about it. You love being an actor. You love your job.
Yeah, I do. And yeah, I mean, there are negatives to it, 100%. There was loads of positives. But yeah, I mean, you try and find a sort of, I try and find a structure for myself outside of work. So if I'm not working, I still feel like I have some productivity or some sort of like functionality to my day, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. In what way?
Well, the problem is I get too obsessed with things though, so it's not necessarily that healthy. Sometimes I'll start playing tennis and I'll be like, now I need to play tennis 4 hours a day, like train like a professional. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm 33, like, and even if I'm rubbish anyway, and I'm never going to go to Wimbledon, but I like to see like progression or things, you know. So I like to play music, I like to play piano, and so I like to improve in some kind of way every single day, which I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it gives me a sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, so you're learning something new, and I think it's all about learning.
Yes, that's a good word for framing it.
But, so your music, how far will you go with the music? How far do you want to go with the music?
This is just for me.
So you're not going to release anything?
No. Though saying that, me and a few friends are talking about starting a band, but that's for fun. It's not like, you know...
Do it.
I'm not trying to invade the music space, but yeah, I'd love the idea of doing live gigs. That'd be fun, even if it was in the pub or whatnot.
And singing.
I'm trying to convince my mate James Dryden. Shout out here. He's got an incredible voice, and he's incredibly charismatic. He'd be the perfect front man, but he's a bit shy about it. So I'm trying to convince him to do it. Otherwise, I will do it. But
so you do sing?
I can sing. I'm not.
I'm not going to ask you to.
I say, yeah. I'd say I'm not a singer, but I can sing. If that makes sense. Like I did musicals in drama school. I was the lead in the musical at drama school. City of Angels, if you know that one.
I love it. I love musicals.
I'm
obsessed with musicals.
Okay. Yes, I was Stein in that. Stein. Yeah, and I, you know, and I love singing. I love to sing in the shower, but I'm not a, you know, bona fide singer.
You do realise though, somebody will hear this and they're like, oh, you know what? How about this musical? Would you do a musical in town?
I always say I would love to, when I'm older, love to play Javert, but for like a few months max, which I know is impossible. But I would love to.
No, you can. You do 3 months.
Can you?
Bonnie Langford has gone in to be Madame Thénardier, and she's doing it, I think it's 2 months or 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
You know your musicals.
Oh, I do.
How often do you go?
As often as I possibly can.
Okay.
Now, I'm off to see a musical on Friday night. I've got 2 daughters. Don't know where they get the love of acting and musical theatre from.
Do they both sing?
They love musicals.
Okay.
That's what they love them. They love going to watch them. Absolutely love them. I was about to do. You can do a bit of Les Mis? Come on.
Absolutely not. Would you want to do?
Love, we see each other plain.
I'm too nervous now.
Monsieur Le Maire. Oh, you're blushing. Oh, that's so
I am
lovely.
actually blushing. I know. It's so funny. I've done musicals, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, hopefully we'll
now.
get to see you in Les Mis.
And I haven't done my vocal warm-ups, Gaby.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. So what's so interesting is for any actor who's listening to this, there is if we're just going to briefly go back to EastEnders about the weird snob thing. You and I have spoken about this before, and it really annoys me that there's this snobbery about soaps. And I think that hopefully that myth can be busted, because people shouldn't be like that. It's a huge gig that you're doing. And then you're going off, you know, you trained, you went off, you did a soap, you learnt your craft. You then went off to Hollywood, you do massive movies. It is there for the taking, but you have to put in the work.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I mean, the stigma, I suppose, how do I say this? I think that, like I mentioned before, you have to make 2 hours of material a week, 2 hours of video a week, and they do a fucking brilliant job. I think the hardest job is probably actually for the writers, because to, you know, keep those storylines going and to make quality writing and come up with 2 hours of material a week, I think that's relentless. That's so hard. So I think it would be unfair to judge. I'm trying to think of an analogy for this, but I don't know. It's like if an artist was given a week to do a painting as opposed to an artist that's given 6 months to do a painting across all boards. There's going to be perhaps a quality differential. But that being said, doesn't mean that the creatives involved. If Picasso did a sketch for a couple of hours, it might not be as good as his. I'm rubbish with art. It might not be as good as his most famous painting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that he's not a fantastic painter. That's
a great analogy.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, yeah.
And like I said, you love what you do. So you've got Unicorns out now in cinemas, and it's now available to stream as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's coming out on Netflix, which is very exciting.
It is.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Hopefully we can reach a big audience, I mean, everyone watches Netflix, don't they? You watch Netflix?
Yes, I do, but I still love going to the cinema.
So do I. I would prefer to always watch everything at the cinema.
Yeah. I mean, if I miss something, then I'll go to Netflix and watch it. But I think that your film will definitely work on Netflix as well, and it will get a different audience. It will get a wider audience.
Yeah.
But everybody should watch it. It's beautiful, and it's an absolute pleasure to spend time with you, Ben.
Thank you, Gaby. Pleasure
And
to
you were
spend time
Pete
with you.
Beale. Oh my goodness!
Come on, tell me, who's your favourite Peter Beale?
You.
No.
You?
No. You be deadly honest. Be deadly honest.
Okay, I'll be
You could say
completely
like
honest.
number 1, number 2. You could say
But they've gone back. He's gone back.
Oh, they have, haven't
He's
they?
back.
Yeah.
Pete Beale is now Pete Beale again.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely. Tom, is it Tom? Yes, sorry. Yeah.
No, my favourite Pete Beale ever. Ben Hardy.
Oh, you're just saying that, but I'll take it. It looks like I just dug for a compliment there. It's so embarrassing. Anyway, yeah. Thank you. I'll take it.
Again.
I'll take it. My first scene was a duff duff.
Was it?
Yeah.
Your very first scene?
Very first scene. Is this a private party or can anyone join? Something like that. I say that line.
So let's do it again. Okay.
Okay.
You're now Pete Beale. Who can I be?
You can be Lucy Beale.
No, I can't be Lucy.
Oh, because she's dead.
She's dead.
You can be Ian Beale then.
No, I don't want to be Ian.
Well, it's one of the two, Gaby. I don't
He
know what
gets
to tell
such
you.
abuse when he walks down the street.
Does he?
He gets such abuse.
Bless him. Lovely Adam.
No, I'll be. I know. I'm the new. I know. We're making up a scene.
Okay, a new scene.
I'm going to be the new landlady of the Queen Vic.
Okay.
Okay, and you're walking in. You're now Pete Beale again.
Okay.
All these years later.
Are we doing a whole new improvised scene though?
No. It's
And
just you're walking
just that
in.
moment. Okay.
And we're going to do the duff duff. Okay.
Okay. Is this a private party or can anyone join?
What are you doing back here? Doof, 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 doof. Yeah.
No, I'm the duff duff. You just had to steal a line.
I'm going to do the duff duff.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm never going to get a
That's
duff
your
duff.
duff duff now.
Okay,
That's your duff.
thank you. Thanks
Why
for
don't you
sharing
go
the
on the
duff
show? I bet they'd have you.
No, thank you. I like
bet
just
they would.
interviewing them. That's fine.
Gaby Roslin Podcast.